Good morning. So you've probably had those projects in Lumion in your architectural renderings where you need to bring in a specific person or look to set the stylized image that you're trying to create look appropriate. And you're finding that the people that are included with Lumion, although they are good and they have motion and movement to them, they're not always quite the right fit for your project. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to make your own custom people that you can bring into Lumion for still renderings and set them at particular poses that you want. That sets the stage for a more realistic rendering for your architectural projects. If you like this video, please subscribe. Also down below is a link to a free SketchUp course I have. It's hosted on Teachable. You can join that free. If you're new to SketchUp, you want to learn more, just check it out. Thanks for watching, and let's get straight into the video. So you may be looking for a particular person or look for this individual that you want to bring in. So one of the things I suggest is searching on Google Images for kind of the look or person and type in headshot, and you'll typically get some head front face shots that you need, something with not a dramatic smile, but something with just a kind of a neutral pose with eyes open, that kind of thing. So I'm going to grab this Angelina Jolie image and open up character creator 3, and so it brings in this generic person, and you want to alter that. So there's a headshot plugin. You can go to auto, and you can actually take this headshot image of Angelina that I've saved here onto my desktop and just drag that right into that area. Choose whether you want it to be a male, female, and the type of skin, and say generate. So it's going to go through a little process, takes a little time. Sped it up here, and you can see it brings in, kind of matches some of the features of the face there, and does a pretty good job. Now this is not an exact replica of Angelina, but I'm going to kind of match up a couple things, change the eye color right off the bat to something kind of green, a little bit more vivid eye color. And then you'll notice that the eyelids are always kind of weird on these headshot things, so we want to change the eyelid mask and basically clean that up. So what we have to do is go to the Modify tab, close the eyes, and you can see there's some weird shading, and you want to change this to Maximum Eyelid, Upper Eyelid Fill, and Update Skin Textures. That'll clean those eyes up a bit, and now you can see that it looks a little bit cleaner when you open the eyes. And the mouth is always weird. So if I wanted to make this look like Angelina Jolie, I would have to do a lot of tweaking to some of the facial features that are more descriptive to actually her, but I just want to get a generic character into my 3D model so I can bring this into Lumion. So you can drop a dress on or some other kind of clothing, and if you drop some clothing on doesn't quite fit, you can do this conforming where you do collision mapping. You can see there's some area that I need to increase the size of this a bit just to clean up that area of the body. And now this person looks pretty good. I'll show you also, as you can see, there's behind the knee, there's a little bit of weirdness going on there in this particular pose. The jeans are not cleaning out properly, so you want to go to Edit Mesh, and that'll create little nodes in the mesh where you can select those and just drag them out of the skin area by using the Move tool. And you can just move them in different directions until they kind of just clear that skin. And if you mess up and deselect, then you just kind of reselect everything and move it again. For what we're doing, you don't really have to be that precise. It's this is kind of a generic person. This person is going to be pretty far away in a rendering. If I was trying to do somebody more exact or have a little bit more detail in the face for some close-up shot or something like that, I would not use the auto headshot, but I would use the other headshot thing and actually bring in custom hair. You can add custom hair to your people, and that gives them a lot more definition to their hair, makes it a little bit more realistic. So we clean that area up in the back of the knee. I think this is the pose that I was going to try to use in the rendering. So something simple like this. But I'm going to try to change the actual genes on this character. So put her back in T-pose and go to Sketchfab, and you can actually search for different models. This is a model by Riki, R-I-K-I, and I'm going to download that OBJ format, and that's the format we need to download. So we'll download that, give Riki some credit here for his RIP gene model. So I'm going to go to 3D Exchange. This is a little add-on program by iClone or Real Illusion is who it actually is. So I'm going to open up that gene model, and I found like when you're bringing stuff into Lumion or anything, this opening it in this program for some reason and saving it seems to help with the texture mapping of the object. So you can look at these genes and see if this is the right fit for your character, what you want. So I'm going to export this to, let's see, an FBX file. So I'm going to choose a place to save this file, put it in my character, and export it as an FBX file. And then I'll go to Character Creator and bring that FBX file, import that into the model. And you can see it comes in at a weird scale, so we want to go to our Scale tool and just quickly scale this up to be an approximate fit for the character. So if you just choose the yellow icon, you can scale everything uniformly, kind of up to her waistline there, and you can see her feet are about in the right spot, or her ankles there. And then when I delete the genes behind, you can see some of her skin is actually poking through the genes, so we need to repair that basically. So this model, this this FBX file is not really tied to her body yet. It needs to be conformed to her figure. So we want to choose the middle of this mesh here, and you can see we want to slide it maybe back just a touch, or keep it where it is. And we'll go to transfer skin weights, and what that does is it allows you to map this clothing, this accessory clothing object, to her the physics that are associated with this character. So you map that, apply that. It takes a little bit of time. You close it, and now you can see that if you change her position here, the mesh of the pants go with her skin and her movements, but you can still see there's a lot of weirdness going on. So I'm going to put her back in the T pose, and we need to have this run this collision. So we'll go to conform, calculate collision, and this should clean everything up. Basically takes the mesh and puts it around the figure. All right, so now we got that, and everything looks like it's cleaning up pretty good. There's some stuff going on at the ankles. It looks like that mesh needs to be adjusted. If you try to increase size, it doesn't really do anything. I don't know why. I think it usually does, but now it's not really doing anything. But I don't really want the waist to be any bigger than it already is anyway. So I'm going to go to here to edit mesh. When I do that, it's going to open up all the little points, vertices on the mesh itself. So I can just select this whole area and just kind of move it, conform it out of the way so that it clears her ankle there. I'm just going to add some vertices to this and kind of pan around. It doesn't select anything through the object, so you have to pan around and Make sure all the vertices are visible before it'll allow you to select them, which can be good and bad, but I'm going to move this over a bit. You can see if you did it too much, it would kind of mess things up. You can do things gradual, make some gradual adjustments just so it cleans up a little bit, clears the ankle there. So that looks better. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So that looks fine. So we got our character, and she's got some torn jeans and stuff. So this looks like the kind of person we want in our rendering. I'm going to change into the pose that I think would be not this pose. But you could, or you could do this pose. Have her sitting on a bench or something. Or this pondering pose. So there's a bunch of different things you could do. You could also move individual legs and arms around to create your own particular posture that you want your character to have. I'm going to save this person, and I want to put her into that. Let's see. First, I'm going to save these pants for future use. So I'm going to highlight the pants, go to my custom area, change this to pants, and then I will do the plus sign, and it will add those pants to my library for future characters if I want to take these jeans and put them on anyone else. All right, so let's put her into the pose that we want for Lumion. So we go to female poses and not that pose. Not this pose. You can see there's some mess up on the mesh there at the bottom in certain poses. So you would have to, if this is the pose you want, you'd have to go in and clean this up a bit. You can go to select the pants and then conform. And this is where you could try to calculate the collision again, which is probably not going to work. So you'll probably have to increase the size of the pants so that they basically grow around her a little bit more. Just until it clears the skin. And then you could use this position if you wanted to without too much fuss. You can see it loosens up around her waist though. So if you wanted to do a more precise edit, you would have to go through and grab those vertices and like the edit mesh and just kind of pull them all for skin a little bit for this position, and then it would work. But this isn't really the position we want anyway. We want more of the look up position. So I'm going to eventually drag this look up position into the model, and then we will show you how to get it into Lumion here pretty soon. So you can see how much bigger by increasing the size. It makes the pants a lot baggier around her. So I'm just going to decrease that size back down because we're not going to use that other position. And I'll add this look up pose. So another thing you can do is change the facial expression on your character. So if this isn't the facial expression that you want, you can actually adjust that under Edit Facial. You can pick and select individual things, or you can actually go to some preset expressions and choose different expressions that you want your character to have. And you can see the detail in this face is not as good as if you were to go to the, we use the auto headshot feature. If you were going to have close-ups this close, you wouldn't use that auto. You would use the other version of headshot. It allows for a little bit more detail and more accuracy, and actually produces a model or a character without the hair. And so you have to go in and add the individual hairstyle to that. The auto feature will add the hair to the model, so it makes it a little bit easier for distant shots, 3/4 shots, things like that. Stuff a little further away. So some of these are very expressive, and I want just kind of a normal face, so maybe I'll use this one. So save this character. We'll export as eventually we'll export as a OBJ. So OBJ, character with current pose, because we want Lumion to accept the pose that we set here for this person. Then after we export that OBJ, we'll come and open that OBJ in the Exchange. This allows, when you bring the model into Lumion, if you go through this Exchange step, the materials will already be added and the scale will be more appropriately scaled. It'll come in at the actual scale of this person here. So she's laying down, so the lighting looks all weird, but we're going to flip her up. Just rotate her up 90 degrees on the red. She's going to come back in laying down anyway into Lumion. We'll have to flip her again, but just so you can see what this looks like with correct lighting, that kind of thing. So all her materials and everything will be meshed onto, or like all the materials will be embedded into the texture. So we'll do export to a FBX. Okay, so now we have the FBX file. Let's go back to Lumion and do import. We'll find this FBX right here. It is. Open that and go ahead and load that in. And you'll see it comes in laying down because the I guess the Y and Z are confused. So all you got to do is take this and rotate 90 degrees up, and you'll have your new custom person. So you can see the eyelashes are messed up, so we need to fix those. Something with the way they do the PNG and the alpha channel of the lash. So you just got to go into the material for that and apply that PNG file. Standard eyelash opacity PNG. So apply that and you'll see that it doesn't actually remove the black spaces. So what we actually have to do is go into Photoshop and we'll drag in we need two things. One is the color and the other is the actual opacity PNG map. So we'll drag these two in to Photoshop. Copy, basically move this diffuse color into the eyelashes and scale that up just so the whole thing overlays on top. Doesn't have to be perfect, it's just the color. And then change the layer of this from normal to hard light. And then make sure the background now, we're going to basically delete out all the black. So make sure the background is on at layer 0. Let's double click that and convert to layer 0. That way we'll be able to have a transparent PNG. So select color range and select all the black. Say OK, and then just delete. Let's see, what am I? So delete out the black and then take that same selection and you need to delete it from this layer on top. So don't click outside before you do. Don't mess up like I did. And delete that from both those layers. So now you've got the color on top of the opacity layer. So now you can save that as a PNG, and it'll save it as a transparent PNG. And I usually just rename it. So now you can close these without saving. Close that, close this, and then we will go back to Lumion and get our material here. The eyelids, go to standard, change the choose color map to the new PNG file, and bam, you've got eyelashes that are transparent. And look more normal. So now you've made a custom character for your rendering, and you can see this is a pretty good person for kind of a distant shot. You wanted to spend a little bit more detail if you want to get some close-up shots of people in your renderings, but this is a pretty good way to effectively add a couple more characters to Lumion, people that maybe fit your demographics more of what you're trying to show in your rendering, set the mood a little bit more, and just really customize those people. And it's a pretty easy way to achieve that with the character creator software from iClone and Real Illusion. And it's kind of fun creating these characters. So if you enjoyed the video and got some tips out of it, I appreciate you leaving a comment. Let me know what you found most useful, some things maybe you didn't quite catch or understand as to why they were being done or how they were being done. I'd love to hear any questions you have about creating your own custom characters and bringing those into Lumion. The only thing that doesn't seem to work is the character animation. If you were rendering in Unreal Engine or something like that, you could easily bring animated characters into your scene for videos and things like that. But this is just a way to bring some still images. So thanks and have a great day.